Hello friends, this is Promi and welcome back to the Kerbal Commonwealth Space Agency. Here we are with Moonbat Automaton in orbit around Kerbal, currently orbiting on the dark side. There's the Moon, so we're gonna do about half an orbit before we do our departure burn. Let's set up our maneuver node. So where's the Moon? There's the Moon. So we'll want to run a maneuver node about here. It looks like we had an encounter there. Let's bring it back a bit. There we go. So periaps is about 70. If possible, I want to come in between 10 and 14. So that's our required altitude for the separator test. So let's try to... Oh, that's the wrong way. Very carefully tweak this. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. There we go. Maybe just a little bit more. Oh. There we go. That's good. Okay, let's see if there's anything amiss with our inclination. I think it looks pretty good. Maybe just tweak it a little bit. That looks good. Okay, so our node is in 13 minutes. Let's just time warp forward. Here comes orbital sunrise. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, let's come out of time warp and get ourselves oriented in the correct direction. And the reaction wheels on this probe are quite weak, so turning around takes a bit of effort. Physical time warp can help with that a bit, but looks like we don't need to do that right now. So let's get pointed and hit our SAS. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick burst of thrust so we get an accurate calculation of how long our burn will be. Okay, so 1 minute 30, so we should start our burn at 45 seconds before the node. Let's time warp a bit. Passing over Kerbin's oceans, and there we go. Okay, maximum thrust. Okay, we're almost completed the burn. Let's ease off a bit. A bit more control. And let's just try to get that last little bit. Come on, probe. That's good. Let's see how our orbit ended up. So we have a periapsis of, okay, 300,000. Not quite what the intention was, but we can do our orbital insertion burn there and bring our periapsis down to between 10 and 14,000. Now I'm going to put the probe into hibernation while we make the journey, so it's not using electric charge for no purpose. So what I can do is check this and then turn off the flow to all of our Stores electric charge. I actually should have 6. I don't see them. Let's open up our service bay. I think some of these batteries are not showing up in the overlay. So let's turn this off, and okay, that one, and that one. Okay, probe is now hibernating. So let me just close this bay back up until we need it. Okay, we're going to make our transfer to the Moon, and I'll speak to you again once we arrive at our destination. Okay, we are approaching our capture burn maneuver node that I created here, periapsis of 13,000. So let's take the probe out of hibernation. We'll just uncheck one battery. Now it looks like we have some high space science to do. So let's open up our service bay. Get a view in there. So we have a mystery goo observation to do. Goo behaves much as it did around Kerbal. Well, I guess space is space, so keep that data. Now our burn is in 9 minutes. Looks like we have something complete here. Fly by the Moon. Talk about close encounters. Any closer and there would be paperwork. Well, we are getting closer, so someone's going to have to do the paperwork. Some quite nice rewards there. Let's time warp in a little closer. Once we're about 3 minutes out, I'll end the time warp, and then we can get our craft pointed in the correct direction. Turn off stability assist so it doesn't fight me. Okay, let's kill our rotation. There we go, put stability assist back on. And we can time warp into about 30 seconds out. There we go. And full thrust. This will be a relatively short burn. Okay, let's see how that looks. Still at 18. Let's get rid of the maneuver node and bring this down a bit. There we go. That should be a good altitude to do our part test at. We have another part of our contract complete. Chief orbit around the Moon. Good, good. So good, it appears that these contracts are completable with the probe. Let's look at our fuel situation. I think actually landing might have been possible, but it could be cutting it close. I'm not really equipped for landing either. This thing is fairly tall and has no legs. I do want to recover all of the science, so I do not think I will risk changing my mission profile. We're going to continue with the original plan of just orbiting and returning. So I'm going to set up a maneuver node here. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I can just use this warp to periapsis button, which was introduced recently. Okay, now for our part test, let's shut down our engine, move the separators into our bottom stage, and separate. Okay, that didn't work, but this seems to be a common occurrence. Just move them back into a new stage, fire again. There we go, part test successful. Test complete. Nice rewards. We have some low orbit science to do. Another mystery goo observation. The goo appears to be drained of color. It may be reacting to high altitude traces of dust or gas. Well, that's good. Guess the Mune is not quite so airless as we thought. A temperature scan as well. Temperature readings here are similar to space around Kerbal. Okay, it's probably referring to high space. I think low space around Kerbal, part of the thermosphere. So what traces of atmosphere are there are probably quite warm. Now some of those did not actually have maximum science, so maybe we can take another mystery goo to get the last little bit. Yeah, this little gap we don't get from recovery, so doing 2 of those should give us full science. You just double check the pressure gauges don't actually do anything here. Yeah, don't do anything. Well, that's unfortunate, but just wanted to make sure. SCSD gauge. I think we ran out of charge on whatever battery we were using. Yep. Okay. Well, I can leave the probe in hibernation for now. Do you have anything else to do here? Recover science from the Mune, which we are going to do when we land back on Kerbal, and mark 1-2 command pod, which will be a later task. So I think we've pretty much done what we have come to do. And now we want to return to Kerbal. I'm sure the science team will be eager to receive this data. So let's see. I should be able to create a maneuver node that skims us right through the atmosphere. Oops. No, dang. Did not want to touch the normal vectors. Okay, add maneuver. Stretch it out. Well, I guess that's probably our best bet. And then once we exit the sphere of influence of the Mune, we'll do a retrograde burn to bring our periapsis down. So, our burn is in 13 minutes. Time warp forward. Eight minutes left. 5. Okay, at the 1 minute mark, let's come out of time warp. Let's come out of hibernation. Looks like we are on a good path for our maneuver node already. Turn on stability assist again. Time warp forward to about 10 seconds. We can do this at half thrust, so we make sure we have good control. Oh, my engine is still disabled. Let's chase that maneuver vector. Looks good. Okay, now we want to make another maneuver node at our Kerbal apoapsis. That will 2 days. 2 hours. Let's warp to Mune escape first. It's going to put our probe back into hibernation. That one. Okay. So let's warp to the SOI escape. Okay, so I think we want to do a retro burn right away, unless we want to come all the way back around. But we have lots of fuel, so this shouldn't be a problem. So let's get pointed. Or are we actually transitioned yet? Not quite. Come on, get back on Kerbal's SOI. There we go. Okay, let's get pointed retrograde. I think whatever battery I have enabled is drained. Okay, let's enable this one. Okay, we are rotating. Where's Kerbal? I think I am searching in the wrong direction. Retrograde should be this way. There it is. Okay, let's kill our rotation. Turn stability assist on. No, what's going on here? Back in orbit around the Mune? Oh, no we're not. Well, that was pretty weird. I thought that retrograde marker was in an odd place. Okay, let's find it again. Just use physical time warp to keep accelerating faster. Okay, there's a retrograde. Kill our rotation. Pointed in the right way. Probably start burning a little bit. It will help us steer the gimbal on that rocket. Okay, stability assist, and let's drop that down to something manageable. It would be between 60 and 70, and then we can expend the rest of our fuel in the upper atmosphere. Help us avoid some of the re-entry heating. See, I think the rocket was a bit overbuilt for our mission profile. I might have been able to do a landing if I had included those legs. We'll know better next time. Okay, like that. Okay, how long do we have? 4 hours. Alright, I'm gonna put the probe back into hibernation. We will drift back to Kerbal, and I will speak to you again when we are about to re-enter the atmosphere. So we're at about 250 kilometers above the surface of Kerbal. So let's take our probe out of hibernation and turn all our electrical systems on. So we'll probably need it from here on out. Okay, we're back in communication with Kerbal. The line is green. But because we are re-entering the atmosphere, we'll want to retract our antennas. I'm still a little bit concerned about them because they extend out a little ways past our heat shield. But I think if they are destroyed, that would be alright. I'm a little more concerned about our parachutes. They don't look like they're in quite as much danger, but they do appear to extend a little bit outwards. So let's point our rocket retrograde. Once we hit the atmosphere, I'm going to dump the remainder of our fuel to kill as much velocity as possible, and then we will jettison our service module. Okay, turn on stability assist. At 150 kilometers now. Just time warp until we're at about 75. And then we can start dumping fuel. 80, 75. Okay, let's commence the burn. Bring our apoapsis down. This burn should be able to get us suborbital. Although even if it didn't, since we are skimming through the atmosphere, that wouldn't be a huge problem. But we have the fuel, so might as well use it. Okay, we are re-entering the atmosphere. Should start to get some compression heating soon. Okay, that camera movement means we are now suborbital. Looks like we'll probably splash down in the ocean, though, yeah, I don't think we'll make it to the land there. Okay, our stage is depleted, so let's... okay, my staging is kind of screwed up from moving them around, so let's do that manually. And there's our heating starting up. It's going to rotate this thing a little bit, so that if we do have an issue with our parachutes, we can try to angle so that one of them is out of the airstream. Turn off stability assist so this orients itself. Looks pretty good so far. Let's see how our plate of shielding, we have plenty of that, so it shouldn't be an issue. Let's rotate again this way. think everything will be okay. Looks like we're going to splash down just off this peninsula here. Okay, and the worst of the re-entry effects are over. Everything is intact. We're a fair ways away from Kerbal Space Center, I think. Yes. Okay, we should be ready to deploy our chutes pretty soon. So chutes are deployed. Still about 11 kilometers above the ocean. Alright, our chutes are open. Got a vertical velocity of 5.8 meters per second. Oh, I think this should be able to make a gentle landing in the ocean. Okay, we are splashed down. Everything looks to be intact. Don't think we have anything else we can do, but we can open our service bay and see if any of our instruments will give us anything. No, zero science. Used all the mystery goo. Okay, well that's okay. Let's close this back up. And a recovery team will be out shortly to collect our probe. Seems it's the middle of the night here at Kerbal Space Center, but our staff has been up eagerly awaiting news of the Moonbat Automaton. So let's review the results we have here. Got mystery goo from high over the moon, in space near the moon. Another one from space near the moon, temperature scan near the moon, and recovery of a vessel returned from orbit around the moon. Gives us 38.8 science, brings us up to 89. And for parts, we got about 8,000 funds back from our recovered parts. Quite a ways to bring the probe back from the seas, so we only got 43% of our value back. And let's see, we got one more contract parameter here. Transmit or recover scientific data from around the moon. Okay, so that's good. Up almost at 500,000 credits. It's too bad we don't have 90, because then we could get one of the next tier of technologies. Let's take a look at the R&D. So yeah, if we had 90, we could get multispectral imaging, which would give us the imaging platform, ablation laser imager, scan sat mapping equipment, and the surface scanning module. But we don't quite have the ability to get that. We could get one of the nodes available for 45. But I think this one will be quite useful, considering it's got 2 science experiments. So I think we're going to try to get that additional half a science point before we do anything here. Let's just time warp forward, let everyone get some rest after all that excitement. Wait for the dawn to arrive. Here we go. Okay, let's check in with Gene, see if he has any easy contracts that we can do that might yield some science. Okay, let's see what we have here. What do we have active still? Then explore the moon, which still needs the landing and test that large command pod on the Moon. And available, we have some more contracts from the Commonwealth Science Foundation. This one is for getting additional mystery goo observations from high space over Kerbal. There might be some more science to get up there. I can't actually remember how many mystery goo observations we did from high space. Unfortunately, the rewards don't actually include any science. Got perform experiments around KSP. And we've done most of that. Let's see. Atmospheric scans, that gives us 5 science, but still at a altitude that we probably couldn't get to with a aircraft. Might be able to do it with a rocket. Or we could purchase the turbine engines. But that kind of misses the point of getting this extra science for those new experiments. See, temperature scans from the Moon. Test radio shoot in flight. Ah, that one gives science. So that's an experimental radial shoot at an altitude. Okay, that probably is a good one to do. Rare science results from Kerbal's tundra. Looks like we'd get a science from the reputation from our administration strategy. Splashdown at Kerbal's tundra. An asteroid sample. Huh. I think someone made some strange mistakes when they did all this. I'll have to take a look at that later. And my Moho flyby. No, not yet. Kick off space tourism. Ah, yes, this is the new Kerbal Space Tourism Agency. We did take Cylin and Millball to space, but now that they've formed an official tourism company, we have our first flight to do for that for Tito Kerman. Good amount of funds. Take a look at that later. Low resolution scan of Kerbal. We'll need to get that ScanSat part before we can do that. So I think we'll do this real shoot test. And then that will give us the additional science we need, and then we can unlock those new science experiments. So let's finish off the episode with a test of that experimental radial parachute. Okay, it looks like we got the science we were looking for. It seems that one of the differences between the real shoot radials and the standard ones are is that the real shoots have some sort of protection mechanism that stops them from deploying when your vertical velocity is positive. I think we actually did discover that in a previous mission when we were testing an earlier version of this. But I did not at the time realize that that was not also the case for the standard radials with real shoot installed. So that's something interesting to remember. Now we have 91 science and a little over 500,000 funds. So let's go to the R&D and we can research our new science experiments. Multispectral imaging. We'll research that and purchase all 4 parts. Alright, I think that's enough for today. I'm sure in our next episode, Bill and Bob will be itching to laser all the things around KSC with their new equipment. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this. This has been Promi. Thanks for watching.